Welcome to the Legacy League's Week 8 pregame Pickem show, brought to you by DJ Stilo. Part 1 of our pregame Pickem shows. We have 6 games tonight, 4 tomorrow, so we're split up here. Ryan alongside Connor, Greg, and Stuckey. And looks like Week 6, as we're 2 weeks away from the postseason, Week 6 gets started off with probably the best game of the week. We have Brotherhood and No Limit. Brotherhood looking to make their way back to the number 1 spot. Well, now they get a chance to go up against the team that currently has the number 1 spot in No Limit. So we'll put the spread at No Limit -3, and we'll start here. Connor, who do you think is going to take this one?
It feels weird saying this, but I'm going to take the underdog in Brotherhood in this one.
I'm going to take Brotherhood, but just with the points. I think No Limit pulls it out.
I'm going to take No Limit with the win and with the spread.
I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go with No Limit as well. But Greg, why do you like the Brotherhood?
Well, I don't like them to win. I just think it could be like a 2-3 point win. But, I mean, I think the Brotherhood, the keys obviously are Russell Payton and Mike Davis. I mean, we've talked about them all year, so I kind of want to stray away from that and talk about Kay, Kyle, Derek, and Brill. They are the 4. I mean, Kevin Rivera's out for a month, I believe. Jonathan Robles, we know what he can do in the post. But they need to step up. They need to, all the talk is the Brotherhood have these 2 stars, these 2 talented players. And I just want to see them pull their weight. If they can pull their weight, I mean, we see with these 2 championships they won, it was the bench and their depth that really helped and keyed in their wins. And I just want to see it from them. On the No Limit side, Howie Miller, I mean, he's my MVP right now, 44% from 3, 26 points per game. Terrell Vargas is playing great. Jalen Graham is starting to get back into his MVP form. And, I mean, No Limit. There's literally no limit for No Limit right now.
Yeah, Brotherhood will have to give it everything they have this week. They barely got past Goon Squad last week. So now we go to Sportslook and Fry Time. That's at 8:30 on Court 2. Fry Time still searching for that first win. They were crushed by the Throne last week, even though the Throne played pretty terribly. So we'll put Sportslook -20. Is there any way Fry Time could cover that spread?
I don't think so. I think Sportslook's still going to cover with the 20 points.
I agree. Sportslook.
I'm taking Sportslook also.
All right, so that's going to be unanimous. I'll take Sportslook too. Stuckey, why do you think it will be such a lopsided win?
Well, it's obvious, right? Fry Time doesn't have any wins, and Sportslook has Brian Acevedo. He averages 23 points on the season so far, almost 24, 23.8 to be exact. And Keem Wright and Christian Allen both average above 10 points on the season, and they're shooting 60% from the field. So whenever you got guys that are shooting 60% from the field, and they're also contributing 10 or more points per game, and you're going against a winless team, there's nothing but confidence exuberating off all those players in that game. So I think they're going to ride it out and get a win tonight.
So from a winless team to a lossless team, we have Redemption on a tough 2-game losing streak right now. Is going to have to play their tails off to keep it from going to a 3-game losing streak as they get Monstars at 7-0. That's at 9:30. We'll favor the Monstars with 11.5 points, still giving some respect to Redemption. I think they've been playing a little below their caliber the last couple of weeks. So does the losing streak stop and they pull off an upset, or do the Monstars remain undefeated?
The Monsters are rolling right now. They're going to be a tough team to take down, which is exactly why I'm picking them, even with the points going against them this game.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Monstars, I just think they're rolling.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going with the Monstars too because Redemption isn't showing us anything that sets them apart from any middle-tier team. So Monstars.
All right, that'll be unanimous. I'll go Monstars too. Connor, you care to elaborate?
Yeah, I like Redemption. I mean, I like how they have Scott Cochard running their point. He's a really crafty point guard. And I really like Don Migliaro as well. Those are 2 really good players in this league. But I just feel like they're missing one integral piece to that lineup that really will calibrate them to that team that they were last season. I feel like they're one legitimate piece away from being a championship contender, where a team like the Monstars has all their pieces in place. They have the Langston brothers and Quintuan Miles and Reggie Stewart, who's a primetime stud in this league. So I think that you can just look at the complete lineup of Monstars compared to what looks like a little bit of some missing pieces on Redemption. I think that it just makes it an easy pick for the Monstars in this one.
Could have another possible blowout on our hands over on Court 2 at 9:30. We have Central Chocolate riding a 5-game winning streak, a tidal wave of momentum, and they get a juicy matchup here against the winless double dribblers. We'll put it at -25 for Central Chocolate. Are you taking the points, or is it going to be even more of a blowout?
Yeah, I think it's going to be another blowout, so I'm picking Central Chocolate in this one.
I agree, Central.
Actually, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to go double dribblers.
I'm going to play it safe, stick with Central Chocolate, but Connor, why don't you give us a little more on this matchup?
It's a huge spread, so I can see where Stucky's going with that.
Yeah.
I just want to see Central Chocolate not get complacent and not play down to the level of the double dribblers, because that's something that we see some of these better teams in the league do every once in a while when they're matched up against a weaker team. So guys like Carmine Santarelli is going to really have to, have a great game. Like I expect Carmine to score no less than 30 points against a team like the double dribblers, and they have a ton of size down low. Which they should exploit the paint for Central Chocolate. So just it'll be just a better team versus a worse team, plain and simple, and I think Central's going to pull out in this one.
Much more intriguing matchup at 10:30 on Court 1. You have a Bad Boys team that's won 3 games in a row. We've alluded all season to how they've been adding pieces as the season goes along. Meanwhile, the Throne, although they're 6-1, they're losing pieces as there's no Joe Bacciello again. So we'll still favor the Throne at -5. Can they overcome the absence of Bacciello, or do the Bad Boys make it 4 in a row?
Yeah, I think that the Bad Boys are actually going to pull out the win in this one. Their win streak, they've been playing well.
I agree, Bad Boys.
Do you mind saying the Thrones record one more time?
6-1.
Oh, okay, so without Bacciello, they still been able to win. So I think I'm gonna take the Throne.
I'm not. I'm going to take the Bad Boys. But Greg, why don't you dive into this one?
I mean, this is a big game for these two teams. They're 7-9 in the power rankings. They're kind of at that point where if they win, they can really make a statement and get a better playoff seed. But I think we need to send an APB out for where Matt Shannon is on the Bad Boys. He's a big paint presence for them.
Sure.
10 points, 5 rebounds. It might not seem like a lot, but that's a big presence you need in the paint, and especially against a Throne team. They got some big boys. They rebound. They play hard D. Especially with Jean Baptiste, 15 a game. Deshaun Moffitt, his all-around game. He rebounds. He passes, but. It really comes down to the 3-headed monster, and Trey Destin and Jalen, they control the game. If they play consistently and they can play not play down to the level of their talent, because the Throne's an extremely talented team, but if they can do what they do when they play double dribblers or sometimes Y, then I think the Throne is in for a long night.
So we'll end with a pick'em. We got a couple 2 and 5 teams here: Goon Squad and Lob 203. Goon Squad looked great against the Brotherhood. They just couldn't quite close it out on those last couple possessions. And then you have Lob 203. They had a tough loss themselves, a 1-possession loss against Sportslook. See, the kicker here is no Brandon Mazzaro for the Goon Squad, and he's their facilitator. So we're going to put it at a pick'em game. Normally I'd say Goon Squad would be favored if they were at full strength, but given the circumstances, it's a pick'em. Who's going to win?
I think that even with the lack of depth tonight with no Massaro, I like Goon Squad in this matchup.
I like Lob.
And I also like Love.
So it's going to be a clean split here. I like Goon Squad. So Stucky, why do you like Lob?
Well, you mentioned no Massaro tonight, and that's who I think they would put on Eric Singleton of Lob 203. You know what I mean? Last week, Eric had 34 points. He averages 26 points on the season. And as far as field goals and free throw percentage, he's above 50%. So when you add all that in, and there you take out his defensive matchup, who was maybe arguably the best player on Goon Squad. When you take him out off the floor and you put Eric Singleton on the floor, Lob's better player. It's a hard team to beat because Singleton can score whenever he wants to. He's like a scoring machine. And he's efficient because on the season he's above 50%. So I think that's why I'm taking Lob 203 in this game.
Should be an interesting matchup. Goon Squad has plenty of experience playing shorthanded this year, so we'll see if that helps them. But that's it for us. Abbreviated show today. We have 4 more games tomorrow. Follow us, Legacy_Leagues, on Twitter and Snapchat. You can also, if you forget our picks or you want to see the spreads, they're actually going to be posted above Court 1 tonight. If you're here, here's your standings so far. We're sitting in the order of our standings right now. I promise was not planned. You have me at 36 and 22, Connor 32 and 26, Greg close behind him at 28 and 30, Stucky at 18 and 22. So we'll see how much that shuffles as the playoff picture begins to shuffle here in the Legacy League's last 2 weeks of the regular season, and we will see you at 8:30 for the start of the games.